CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Why we need to come for CSS? Is it necessary come for CSS? Yes, by using CSS, we can make our web page very attractive compared with HTML. Okay, so why we need to go for CSS? We can make our web page very attractive. Okay, more attractive. So in this session, we are going to learn about cascading style sheet, and we will see some programs on CSS. Okay, here cascading style sheet we can refer as CSS. It is a simple design language intended to simplify the process of making web pages presentable. CSS handles the look and feel part of the web page. Look and feel, so we can handle look and feel part of the web page. So look and feel means what? UI part, user interface. Look and feel we can handle by using this CSS. Okay, using CSS you can control the color of the text. Okay, we can give the text color, and the style of the font style we can give. The spacing between the paragraphs, we can make space between the paragraphs. Next, how columns are sized and laid out, what background images or colors are used, layout designs, variations in display for different devices and screen sizes, as well as variety of other effects we can see by using this CSS. Here, CSS is easy to learn and understand, but it provides powerful control over the presentation of an HTML document. Okay, with the HTML, we are going to use CSS. Most commonly, CSS is combined with the markup languages. Those are HTML or XHTML. You know HTML already. XHTML means extensible hypertext markup language. Extensible hypertext markup language. So it is a part of a family of XML markup language. Okay, it mirrors or extends version of the widely used hypertext markup language, that is HTML. So the language in which web pages are formulated. So we can see this XML HTML in the next sessions. Okay, just we are going to see about introduction to CSS in this session. Okay, uh, what are the advantages of CSS? If you are using cascading style sheets, what are the advantages? So CSS saves the time, and page load faster, easy maintenance, and it is superior styles to the HTML. Offline browsing also we can do by using this. Okay, so how we can save the time means, so CSS saves the time. This is one advantage. You can write CSS once and then reuse same sheet in multiple HTML pages. For example, you are going to create more HTML pages like about.html, contact.html, home.html. These are the different HTML pages. But here you are no need to write for HTML sorry CSS code for every HTML page. So once you can write the CSS code in one page, then we can reuse that CSS code for all HTML pages. Okay, next, pages load faster. If you are using CSS, you do not need to write HTML tag attributes every time. Okay, just write one CSS rule of the tag and apply it to all the occurrences of that tag. So less code means faster download times. Next, easy maintenance. Maintaining is easy. To make a global change or simply change the style, and all elements in all web pages will be updated automatically. So for all HTML pages, we are creating only one CSS file. If you want to change code for all HTML pages, so regarding to design UI part, so you can change some elements in the CSS. Okay, if you change any element in the CSS, that will affect to all HTML pages. You no need to go for a particular page. Okay, so here it is easy to maintain. So and next advantage is superior styles to HTML. Here the CSS has a much wider array of attributes than HTML. Okay, so you can give a for better look to your HTML page in comparison to HTML attributes. We have more attributes comparing to HTML in CSS. Okay, next advantages is offline browsing. Offline browsing, you no need for online. Just you can create the CSS files in offline, and you can run the program in any browser by using any browser in the offline also. So here the CSS can store web applications locally with the help of offline cache. Okay, using of this we can view offline websites. We can view offline websites that I have created already. Daily I am creating web pages, right? That is offline only. Okay, while going for bootstrap, there we two ways we can do, offline and online. Okay, if you are using links, we must use online, otherwise we cannot run that. That means the bootstrap will not work, but in CSS we can do in offline. Okay, CSS syntax is a CSS comprises of style rules that are interpreted by the browser and then applied to a corresponding elements in your document. A style rule set consists of selector and a declaration block. We have two things here: selector and declaration block. Here selector means h1. H1 tag in HTML, right? Here h1 means what? What we call selector. Selector in CSS, h1 is selector, and we have declaration. Declaration, this open brace and closed brace. Within that we can write the style coding here. Color equal color colon blue. Font size 12 pixel. This we can write inside the h1 block. Okay, here h1 is selector and we have declaration within the block. Okay, so this is the syntax you need to follow regarding to CSS. So the selector points to the HTML element you want to style. The declaration block contains one or more declarations separated by the semicolons, as you have seen already the example here. See, semicolon, this is colon, and this is attribute value. Here attribute is color and attribute value is blue and separated with semicolon. Okay, right. Each declaration includes a CSS property name and the value. Name and the value. Color is the name and value is black and separated by colon. For example, color is property and blue is a value. Here color is what? Property, and blue is the value. Okay, and font size is a property and value is 12 pixel. Okay, a CSS declaration always ends with the semicolon. Declaration ends with what? Semicolon. Okay, how you can separate the attribute and the value by using colon. Okay, how you can ends the declaration by using semicolon, and the declaration blocks are surrounded by curly braces. Okay, surrounded by, block means what? Curly braces. Open curly brace and close the curly brace. See here. Here, the CSS selectors are used to find or select HTML elements based on their element name, ID, class, attributes, and more. Okay, we'll see by name, ID, class. Okay, so how can we access? Based on the name, ID, class, and the attributes, and more we can see. If you see the example, then you can understand this. So the universal selectors, See here, you can see the selectors. So here select, you know already that tag names we have used in HTML, right? That is a selector here. H1 tag is a selector. Next paragraph tag, p tag, that is selector. And inside the attributes what you are using, attributes and attributes what those we can write inside the block. Okay, see that is CSS here. We have uh, universal selector. Okay, universal means we can represent with the star symbol. We can represent with the star symbol. If you are using star symbol means what? That is universal. That means we can apply that color and all. What are the attributes we are using? That effect we can apply to all the one page, all the page, entire page. Okay, all the page means here entire page we can apply. Okay, entire page we can apply by using star symbol. Star means what? Universal selector. Here universal select, rather than selecting elements of the specific type, the universal selector quite simply matches the name of any element type, any element. See here, star. If we are using id, name, class, whatever, so it we can apply it for that name only. Okay, but if you are using star means it will apply for all the elements. Okay, so this is universal selector. Symbol is what? Star. Within the curly braces, okay, this is declaration, the attribute property, and this is value. Property and this value is separated by the colon. And how to close in the declaration by using semicolon. Okay, this rule renders the content of every element in our document in black. See, we see the examples, then you can understand. See here, the element selector. This is element selector. What is the element here? Paragraph tag, p tag. Here element is what? Paragraph selector. Here the element is selector selects elements based on the element name. Here element name is what? P. Okay, you can select all p elements on page like this. In this case, all p elements will be center aligned and red to text color. See the properties here. P element that contains the properties, property value, center. Text align where? Center. Okay, left or right we can set. Next to color equal to red we have given. Okay, this is element selector. This is called element selector. Next, descendant selector. We have seen a universal selector, next element selector, and a descendant selector. Descendant selector means what? Suppose you want to apply a style rule to a particular element only when it lies inside a particular element. As given is the follow examples. Style rule will be applied to em element only when it lies inside the ul tag. See here, you have ul tag and the em tag. So both tags. So inside of this, if the em tag is available inside of this, uh, to apply this color to em tag, you should use in this way. Okay, ul tag, inside of ul we have em tag, so there we are applying some colors. So for that we need to use like this. This is called descendant selector. This is called what? Descendant selector. Okay, so universal selector, element selector, and the descendant selector. Element universal means star, element selector means tag names, p, paragraph tag, h1 tag, something, and descendant means inside the element another element will be there. For that element we are going to apply css. So we can use descendant selector. Next, the id selector. We said, right, name, id. Okay, id selector. The id selector uses the id attribute. We can use id attribute of an html element to select a specific element. To select a particular element or specific element, we should use id attribute. The id of an element should be unique within a page, should be unique, okay, should not be a duplicate, so should be unique. So the id selector is used to select one unique element. To select an element with a specific id, okay, we can write a symbol like hash. Okay, this is the symbol we should use if you are using id, okay, as a selector in css. So in html we should use hash character, so followed by a id of the element. We'll see the example, then you can understand. Okay, see here the style rule below will be applied. Okay, this is the style rule. Here the html element with id name is what, para1. Okay, this is id. Here id selector is what, id selector means we are giving id with what symbol. How we can know this is id from css? Okay, by using hash symbol. If hash symbol available means that is id. Okay, hash para, that contains, that id can para contains uh, properties and the values. What are the properties we have here? Two properties. Text align is center and color is red. We can see that id also by using id selector. Next, class selectors. Okay, id selector. Next, class selector. Class selector means the class selector selects the elements with a specific class attribute. Specific class attribute. To select elements with a specific class, we can write a period that called dot. Okay, dot means what? Dot character means what? So we can say that is class of the css. Okay, this is the symbol we need to use if you are writing class. Okay, class, that attribute values we can write. Class means how you can recognize that is a class or id. Id means you can use hash symbol, or if you are using class means, so how you can recognize it, dot symbol. Okay, followed by the name of the class. Okay, dot to class name. So in this example we can see the html element with the class center will be red and the center aligned. So see here, class is center, class name is what, center. How you can know this word, the center is class or id? Because of dot. Here we have dot symbol, that means this is the class, this is center class. Center class that contains properties, so text align, center and color is red. Okay, this is the example you can see. So before html, you know html code, html tag, header tag, that next title tag, we have title of the web page and header is closed here. Next to body started, that body contains tag main. Okay, main tag that contains h1 tag that contains some information. Next, this is a basic web page, that is one paragraph tag. Next, main closed, body closed, html closed. This is the normal code. If you run this normal code, what will happen? So after applying the css, what will happen? We will see with the two examples. This is the css code. Okay, see here css code. I have written some style tag for representing styles. I am writing one style tag. Okay, within the style tag I'm writing tag name is what, main. Here tag name is what, main. That main contains properties like width width 800 pixel and height to 400 pixel, padding 10 pixel, background, some background I'm giving, and this is for main tag, where you are using main tag. Okay, where you are using, for what you are using this main tag. So you are using main tag for this line. Okay, for header tag and paragraph tag, for header tag and for paragraph tag you are using. So inside main, so this is applied for this header tag and also paragraph tag. Okay, next h1 tag. For h1 tag, um, h1 element we are writing some other css, font family, fantasy, and cursive. Next serif color equal to Oli Vedrat, and border bottom equal to 1 pixel dotted dark green. Okay, these are some properties we have written for h1 element. Next, for paragraph element we are writing some properties: font family, sans serif, and color orange. So these properties we have written for p element. Okay, p element, and this is for h1 element, and this for main tag. Okay, are you understanding? Are you getting? So where you are applying this style tag open, style tag close, where you are applying this style. So based on this tag you are using this tag. That means what are the elements that are available, what are the information that are available in the main tag. So for all those things we are applying this all properties, this all css. Okay, for h1 we are using this css. Okay, for paragraph tag we are applying these properties. Okay, yes, all of you, are you getting? So this is normal css, so which I explained here. HTML tag, title that contains main tag. Okay, main tag closed. The main tag we have this code. Okay, this is h1 tag and this is paragraph tag. So how can I apply css? First see the normal tags. Only html, only html. Finish. See, this is by using only html I have written. Okay, with css, you can see with css. So with css, as we discussed already, this code only, same code. So for main tag, style tag open. Okay, style tag closed. Within the style tag I have written attributes and their properties here. Okay, these are the elements: main element, h1 element, p element I am using here. Main element, h1 element, and p element we are using here. For main element we are writing these attributes. Okay, for h1 element we are applying this css, and the paragraph element we are applying this css. Okay, now we are applying this style for this html page. Okay, what will happen? See, it will be more attractive than normal css. See, we can design in many ways. Okay, yes, all of you. Yes, all of you. Any doubts still here? Before and after. See the page. Students, any doubts still here?
No doubts.
Okay. So in this way we can apply css to html pages. Okay. Next. Next we have Types of CSS. Instruct. Types of CSS. First one, these are some types of CSS we can see. Okay, uh, just now what type we have used here?
Internal CSS.
Internal CSS. Okay, for applying inline CSS, how we can use? You can use style tag here. Style h1 color is what? We can put some color red I am giving. Okay, so already for h1 tag I have used color olive drop. Okay, now here I am using red color. So which one is affected, ma? In Java also I said somebody know about this. So local is more priority. Okay, so we will see. So this is what inline. We can apply inline. And next, say some properties. All of you. See which one is applied here. Yes, all of you. Whatever I have written inside this tag, so by using style, so this is affected. The color attribute I have used here, and the same color attribute I have used here also. Which one is affected? Local one. This one is affected here. Remember that. Okay. If you want to change particular tag properties, we can change here. Already universally you are globally you are declared here. So while you are using h1 tag here, okay, these properties will going to be used. But if you want to change, I don't want these properties. I want to some other property. I want to apply other color to that text for this text. Okay, the, in that situation I can use this. Okay, right. External. Next one is what? External. External means outside. See here, I'm going to create one CSS file. New. File.css. style.css. So here you have used right main h1 paragraph, whatever you have written this, I'm copying, same thing I'm pasting here in the style. Okay, here you can give IDR class. IDR class. How can I apply this one to? So I'm removing this. Okay, I'm removing this here. Style tag also remove. Okay, now this is only the HTML. Then how can I apply this external CSS to our HTML page? So I said already, by name, by ID, by class name and all. So how can I call that one? By using ID and name, ID and class name, right? So here ID means for which symbol I need to use. Tell me all of you.
Hashtag for ID.
Hash. If it is class means
Period. Dot.
dot. So how can I call? Within the head I can write here. How can I call that external file? Tell me all of you. How can I call? Text slash css or ef equal to the style name is what? Styl style dot css. How can I call external css? Tell me all of you. This line you need to write here in the HTML page. You need to call the style.css in this way. Okay, yes, all of you tell me what I need to write. Link rel equal to style sheet and the type. What type it is? Content is what type? What type, ma? Text slash css. If it is HTML, type text slash HTML you are writing, right? If it is JavaScript, text type equal to text slash JavaScript. So in that way you have to write. Okay, next to href equal to href equal to the file location you need to write and the file name you should write, right? Any doubts about this link? How to call external file? What line I need to write for calling external style sheet? Tell me, ma. Yes, all of you. Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay,
We use
Yes,
use
type.
this link. We use this link. We can call style. Then how we can apply that style? See, this is ID main ID name is what? Main H1P. So how can I apply here? I said what I said.
You
ID
have to
means
give
ID
attribute
equal
ID
to
equal
tab
name
in. What is the ID name? Main.
main
Okay. Next for H1, ID equal to what?
H1.
Equal to H1. For understanding, I am giving like this. So you can give other names also. Okay, based on your style. Next for paragraph. For paragraph, ID is what? ID equal to within a double quotation. ID name P, right? So in this way, I can apply external CSS. Link rel equal to style sheet. Type equal to text slash CSS. And href equal to style dot CSS. So this file name we need to give it here. Okay, this is very important. Type it will take automatically and rel also. Okay, now I can run this, whether it is going to apply or not. So now it is coming, right? So in that way I can call external CSS into our HTML page. Yes, all of you, any doubts still here? So what are the types of uh, CSS we have? Can someone reply me?
Yes,
Internal,
sir.
inline, external.
Okay, in the next session we will see what are the advantages and the disadvantages of what types of CSS. Okay, are you clear about this session? That's and all.
Yes, sir.
How can I write the syntax? Can we explain the syntax for writing the CSS? Tell me some advantages of CSS. By using CSS, we can save the time. So page loading is fast and maintenance is easy, and we can apply superior style to HTML. Offline browsing is possible. Okay, and the syntax is what? We have selector that contains declaration within the braces, declaration blocks. So curly braces we can use. Within that we can write property and property value. How can you separate the property and property value? Which symbol we can use? Yes, all of you. Yes, all of you. How can I separate attribute and attribute value?
Using colon, sir.
By using
Colon.
colon symbol, colon. And how can I close that declaration? So some property font size equal
Semicolon.
to 12 pixel I have given. Okay, font to colon 12 pixel. Then how can I close that one? Close that property by using semicolon. By using semicolon. Okay. So now have you find the difference here? So this is external types of CSS. This is external style, and this is inline style. And why, yeah? This is what? Internal CSS. This is internal CSS. Internal CSS. This is inline CSS. Inline. So within the tag we are writing style tag. Inline CSS. This is internal CSS. This is internal CSS. So external means we are writing external file with the .css. We are calling by using id or class name id or class name is dot. I said one more universal. Universal means the star symbol we can use. So color we can use here. Color green. I am using green. Control S. How can I call this one? S. Alt tab. F5. See here. So in this way I can use color green applied. Background color I can use here. Background color green. Control S Alt tab F5. See, background color I applied. So that is universal. You no need to call this one. Okay. That is universal for all pages. Yes, all of you. If you call that one, so that is applied for all the page, all the elements is going to apply. Any doubt? So who are not attempt the is today I shared that link, so you can complete now today. Okay. Otherwise, I will cut the marks in alternate assessment. Okay. Okay. Thanks for listening this session. You can leave now.